I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is Armored Demon Hunter is not the most toxic deck in the game. And the bad news, Murmur Shaman. It's not a meme, it's a very real deck. We're just gonna jump straight into this deck breakdown because I don't want to take a look at the meta. I don't want to take a look at all of this data right now because there's a lot of things that are definitely true about the meta with like Hunter being on top and Demon Hunter slightly getting worse. But I just don't want to look at stats and, you know, completely ruin what might be considered the best deck in the game because there is a lot of conversation that is currently surrounding Nebula Shaman. But the biggest issue with looking at the data right now is that we are seeing a ton of different decks pop up for this deck. And I want to show you guys a deck that I made yesterday and then the deck that I made today that really does show how sometimes you can't trust the original stats when a deck pops up because sometimes it'll get optimized and then completely explode out of nowhere. So we are taking a look at Murmur Shaman today, where the whole point of this deck is to do a Murmur combo, and if this deck doesn't get Parrot Sanctuary nerfed, and if Hunter also being really good doesn't get this card nerfed, I really don't know when Blizz is gonna draw the line when it comes to this location, because in Hunter you are able to tap this location multiple times in order to get your giants out for 0 mana, but in this deck the way that it works with Murmur is that Murmur makes your Battlecry minions cost 1, they do immediately die after being played, but you have Parent Sanctuary that you can tap while Murmur is on the field in order to make any of your Battlecries 0 mana. So that means as early as turn 5, if you have the right setup, you can do the following combo. You can play Murmur into Shutterblock into Ysera. This is a very key point of the deck because if you Shutterblock into Ysera with 0 mana, then you get 9 mana that you can immediately use, and when you're doing this combo, you are immediately going from like 5 to 14 or 6 to 15, so you're pretty much going up to the max mana cap immediately when you do this combo if you aren't already killing your opponent. How do we kill our opponent? Well, this is a Nebula deck, so the whole point of this deck is to sometimes do Hagatha into draw the Nebula, because then that way when Hagatha draws the spell, it becomes a Battlecry minion that you can then play for 1 or 0 mana. But there's another win condition in this deck that we absolutely need to talk about, and I'm already hearing the question marks. What's the Malorn for? Why do we have this card? Malorn just doesn't seem worth it because we're not an imbue deck. Read the Battlecry. Battlecry, discover a legendary wild god, and if you look at the wild gods, a lot of them are Battlecry minions, and there's a couple of different wild gods that we need to talk about in order to really see what this deck can do. So let's go ahead and take a look at the wild gods themselves. So within your Malorn, you have Ursoc, Omen, Forest Lord Cenarius, Goldrin, Asina, Ursul. I'm probably butchering these names, but there's a lot of really powerful cards that are available in this set, and I'm just gonna tell you straight up, the most powerful one is definitely Asina, however you want to pronounce it. It deals 20 damage, and you are actively killing a bunch of minions in the process, so you might be able to use this as a finisher in case your board with like Nebula is not good enough to win the game. But there's also some other combos that you can do. Like if you happen to play Shutterblock into the Malorn, then you can discover you can discover Gam, and then you can get cards like Tortola, Anora, or even like cards like Goldrin that you can just play, or even like a Cenarius that you can play for 1 mana and then take that health away from your opponent. So there is a lot of synergy that's available here, but first and foremost is getting deal 20 is just probably going to be the most common outcome out of this, but there's a lot that you can do. Even like Ashamain, for example, if you play an Ashamain while you're doing the combo and you don't exactly have the board taken over, or your opponent still has some minions on the field, then you can take cards from their deck and then immediately play it. There's a lot that this deck can do, and it's just really, you know, powerful because with this deck in particular, you also have the Curator that can draw a beast, a dragon, and a Murloc from your deck. So we have the Growfins in the deck in order to fit the Murloc requirement. We have Sasquatch as well as the Malorn. I'll explain Sasquatch here in a second. And then you have the Ysera filling in the dragon role. So you might even have like a turn where on turn 5, turn 6, you play your Murmur, you tap location, you play Curator, and then you play your Ysera, and then you only have like maybe 3 or 4 minions that you can play after that. I know, only 3 or 4 legendaries by turn 5, turn 6. Absolutely, you know, not that powerful, right? But here's the other parts of this deck. Cards like Sasquatch do have a way of being utilized where if you do the Murmur combo and then it doesn't kill your opponent, you can then play Sasquatch in order to get all the minions that you played in the previous turn, granted as long as they fit onto the board space. But here's the thing about this deck. What if I told you that this version of the deck, even though it has like Curator and it has like all of these other cards that synergize pretty well, what if I were to tell you that this isn't even the good version of the deck? In the game clips coming up ahead, you're going to primarily see this list right here, but I have created a new list this morning that I am currently streaming over at twitch.tv/ClarkHellScream. And it is this version of the deck. The primary reason why I decided to go with this version is because I saw Pocket Train and Gabby, who are currently rank 2 and rank 3 on the NA server, playing all in on just doing the Murmur combo, and here's how I can explain it the best. The reason why you just want to focus on having a bunch of spells to remove the board as well as little minions as possible is so that way you can play your bird watching and then get the right cards in the right time. Because you really got to have Murmur, but once you have Murmur, then you got to get Ysera, and if you already have these two other cards, then you really want to try and get your hands on Shutterblock. It's almost like a check system where it's like, I got the first thing, let me get everything else, because if I don't have all these other cards, then suddenly I'm only locked to playing maybe 2 or 3 minions depending on what exactly the game state is. And so you have Lord Zavis in order to discover minions from the deck as well, so you have 3 minion tutors that are available in this particular deck, so that way you have a bunch of consistency of finding those minions, and that's why cards like Curator, cards like Sasquatch, and the Murloc, for example, are probably not that good in this deck because you already have the consistency of finding the minions, so that way you are just all in on doing the most powerful thing this deck can do, which is definitely the Murmur combo. So the reason why every single one of these minions is in the deck is because Turbulus enables the Hunter Tourist. You have Nightmare Lord Zavis in order to find minions from the deck, which is very important. You're probably going to keep this card in your mulligan, especially against non-aggro matchups. You have Bob the Bartender to not only refresh mana as like a secondary Ysera, but keep in mind Ysera gives you mana going into the next turn. Bob doesn't compete with that. In fact, the best way to use Bob in this deck is actually to use his draw ability in order to get extra copies of cards like Malorn, Marin, or even, I guess you can't get anything else. So those are really the best cards you could get is the Marin and the Malorn, which trust me, they really do make that much of an impact. But you have Murmur that obviously needs to go into the deck. You have Shutterblock that gives you the triple battle cry, absolutely needs to be in this deck. Marin is a little bit of like a, okay, I did the combo, but it's not good enough. I need a little bit extra gas, and there are some very wacky things that you can do with Marin, especially if you happen to Shutterblock the value from it. Then you have Malorn. We just talked about why Wild Gods are good. And then the last card, Ysera. All these minions are absolutely important, and I would not try to put in any other minion unless it enables some kind of win condition. And as of right now, all we really need to do is just control the early game, dominate with our mid-game combo, and oftentimes it will just win the game on the spot, especially against tempo decks. But against decks like DK, sometimes you'll need to play a little bit longer and cheese even more value just to get past that 1 or maybe 2 AoEs that could maybe deal with this board state. So the cards that I would recommend that you keep in your mulligan are going to be your Bird Watching, your Parent Sanctuary, and your Nightmare Lord Zavis in almost every single matchup because these are the best cards to tutor out the combo. You can sometimes keep cards like Fairy Tale Forest if you're in a little bit of a slower matchup and you don't need the early game. You want to keep Lightning Storm and maybe even a Molten Magma against Hunter. Pop-Up Book is a fine card to keep on turn 1 if you're up against a aggro matchup as well, but I really cannot undersell just how powerful doing the combo is because sometimes an aggressive deck is just not going to kill you by turn 6, especially if you like Lightning Storm once or twice at the right time. There's also Baking Soda for even more removal options with Lifesteal. One thing to keep in mind though, you really don't want to overload yourself going into your turn 6 because that's really where the Murmur goes to shine unless you have, you know, Parent Sanctuary and you have ways of getting around that. So be aware of the combo, be aware of when you overload, focus on removing the board as effectively as you can, and then pop off the combo, which is a skill within itself. It might take a couple of tries to get used to it, but generally speaking, as long as you're keeping an eye on your hand space size so that way Malorn doesn't miss value when you play it with Shutterblock, then I believe you're probably playing this deck absolutely fine. And don't forget, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check out the Patreon if you want to help support the content directly. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this deck breakdown, and we'll see you for the next video. And also, shout out to Rogue Energy. You can get 30% off with coupon code Clark69 until March 31st. And if we are the #1 sales affiliate after the end of next month, we are getting a Rogue Energy mini fridge. We have been their #1 associate before, and we'll do it again. So check out the link in the description below in order to get 30% off of Rogue Energy. Buy it, buy it, buy it.
You stand before King Rastaka.
That's pretty much all we've been able to do with this Shaman deck. We're only bullying, like, slower decks. Alright, Murmur. Let's go. Yeah, didn't I have fun against the Unga Bunga? Wasn't that interesting? It was so interesting. When my opponent played the card that only goes face, oh, I love it. 4-mana Marin? Okay, that's a high roll. That's a bit of a high roll. Do stars go off your peak rank or ending rank? Ending rank. It's what you finish the season at.
Relaxation for all, and all thanks to me.
Bam. The Shaman deck is good because we're in a heavy control meta, but it sucks because we are in a heavy control meta, which is very weird. I mean, I disagree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with a heavy control meta. Heavy control metas are fine. Oh my lord. Ysera. This can find Ysera. Good lord, dude. I mean, I just win. I don't even need the greedy value, but I want it. Good lord, dude. The meta is dictated by what is common, what is popular, and what is good. And sometimes you have popular decks that aren't good that end up locking out other decks that make sense in the meta. Like when Reno Warrior was a thing, for example. Like, it wasn't that good of a deck, but it was so omega popular that you had to account for it. I mean, we always have to do this. Ysera. Battlecry twice, Ysera. Sag. But I guess this refreshes mana. I kind of fucked up the order here, actually. I should have done this first and then done Shudder Block into this. But I'll just take the L. Oh boy. Fuck it. I should have done that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, oh no, not that one. Oh no. I got a little lost in the sauce. I got lost in with my hand space, unfortunately. But we still win the game, I think. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually a problem.
My hand is full.
Well, now I just feel silly. I should have played around that, honestly. I should have 100% played around that. That's why the triple Wild God would have been insane. I just should have waited. I got way too greedy. Why am I so damn greedy, guys? Why can I never help myself? Resurrect Potion? Let's go. Alright, not bad. Like, Bayfin Bodyguard is a bait card because it's like, what? You're gonna be ahead, you're gonna play that card, you're gonna feel so good, we're like, I'm denying their cards. And then they're just gonna kill it before playing the cards that matter. It is the ultimate new bait card because it's not good. It's not good. Don't play it. Trust me, guys, don't play it. Don't let me catch you guys playing that deck. All right, so he's got to deal with the board. If he does, we've got Nebula value. I made a Dragon Control Priest and thinking about it yesterday. I have a 65% win rate and high diamond as a sick combo. Happy to share. Dragon Priest, I feel like, is going to be good after the first wave of balance patches. Dragon Priest, I feel like, is also just an archetype that for some reason people just don't want to play. I think that is really good, though.
Clark HELLSCREAM. The best
So then why do you want to disenchant Ceaseless if you have 23k dust? Wait, what? Signature bodybuilder only cost me $60, but I had to skip my gym membership. Yeah, you're gonna be working out your Hearthstone rank, bro. He's gonna be working out his Hearthstone rank. I'm still gonna do it. All right, lethal. I said lethal. So close to lethal. So close! Dirty Rat is really good in this meta. So many decks are running powerful battlecry minions that are essential. Yep, Dirty Rat's always going to be a good card. Why would I play Rat and suck DK? Because there's a lot of battle cries that suck to go up against, and in the mirror, for example, you can Dirty Rat the Husk. You can Dirty Rat a lot of things, so that makes sense. It may not make sense against DK, but that's why you have the silence. We need one more Alec here. Ah, excuse me.
Deloa, speak to me.
Hyrule Spell Totem? Damn. Hex kind of carrying, not gonna lie. Can Goblet wine my 1 mana 6/11? You know, I could do that. And honestly, that might just be the play.
Stand and fight in darkest night.
Dang it. Well, we're doing it next turn, I guess. I need to throw cards out of my hand in order to do this. Not a battle cry, right? Yeah, it's not a battle cry. Ongara's entry line is the most pathetic little bird screech. Is that what it sounds like? I expect you to be picking more Grunties and Octazari with your key summoning spell. Our goal is for your opponent to be really surprised by your choices and emote in confusion. I mean, I think you're right about that, to be honest. I think our opponent is definitely going to be emoting in confusion after this next play. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do against the Meadow Striders. Oh my god! I can get even more of them! I can get even more of them! I need more! I must have more! He's actually getting Meadow Strider, dude! Who needs Kill Jaden when there's Meadow Strider? Oh, is he giving that poisonous? That's beautiful, actually. That's exactly what I want you to do. Little do you know, that's exactly what I want you to do. There's winning in Hearthstone, and then there's winning in Hearthstone. And whenever I get sick of these boys, I can just turn them into random legendaries. Alright, so Meadow Strider, followed by, I don't know, maybe another Meadow Strider. Tap the location, but you wanna know what? I'm gonna play Bob. I'm gonna play Bob, and I'm gonna draw a minion in my deck. It's gonna be another Meadow Strider. I guess I'll play another Meadow Strider while I'm at it. And then, you know what else I'll do? I think I'll play, that's right, you guessed it, another Meadow Strider. And then I guess that gives me enough room to play yet another Meadow Strider. And if I really want to consider my options, I'm not going to play another one. I don't want to play into Bob, guys. I won't say Reno. Dude, Reno is the exact reason why a card like this can exist. Imagine having Reno just ruining the fun. Oh, yo, kill Jaden. I could have bobbed that for BM, but then I'd lose my Meadow Striders. I don't want to. Meadow has been officially struck. Meadow has been struck, bro. We struck the Meadow. How could Murmur be nerfed without taking the idea from the card? Bump it up in mana cost. If Murmur was 8 mana or something like that, you literally delay the combo. Renovator's picking up popularity. It's really bad. I also agree. Again, man, tech cards. Who would think that having a card that only defeats, only has one purpose of denying your opponent is going to be bad? Like, it's just, it's the ooze argument all over again. It's literally just the ooze argument. Also, I probably should have kept the Zavis, but in this particular matchup, I want removal.
The best Hearthstone player that ever lived.
Yeah, it's only good uses versus you, literally. Oh, yo, is this Dragon Paladin? We have double Parrot. Big thanks to the kind person in chat who advised me to play Suck DK during the last stream. Though the question, though, is 8 hands worth running? According to the stats, 8 hands I don't think is worth it. 8 hands seems worse than just regular Suck. So I would not recommend it. Double location can potentially go kind of hard here to discount the these guys. Okay, much better line. Could do this into this, and then we have just infinite everything. This really is gonna come down to whether or not the Paladin's playing a quality conk. Murmur, please and thank you. Thank you. Oh my god, Reborn with full enchant. Dude, that is so insane. That is so good. Oh my god, this isn't even fair, dude. This isn't even fair. It's like actually isn't even fair at this point. Okay, 4-cost dragon, sure. So let's do this in correct order. We play this first. Rag. To Alakir. Throw this away, throw this here. Shutter block. Lorn. Get 3 cards. Always pick Gam Gam. 9 mana card. Actually, yeah, 9 mana card, so it works with Gam Gam. Tortolas, because it also works with Gam Gam. Now this is the turn, dude. Now this was the turn! Is that lethal? Lethal. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him! Die! No! No! Why? It was so close! But guess who's coming back, though? But guess who's coming back?
My God.
The Murmur's coming back.
Lord HELLSCREAM, the best Hearthstone player that ever lived.
No! Wait! No! No! Say, new Hearthstone, same rag. Am I right? It kept the enchantments. It did. It actually kept the enchantments. I'm so upset. There is a line of Bob go for triple Marin. It's not guaranteed. There had to have been a lethal. Like, if I played Goldrin instead... Yeah, dude, if I played Goldrin, I had the rush. I actually missed lethal. I, like, unironically missed lethal. Luckily, it's not gonna matter, though. We top deck the Marin immediately. I'm just... Yeah, we actually missed lethal, guys. I can't believe my streamer's so washed. My streamer is so washed, dude. If the rag would have gotten me there, that would have been a clip. I wonder what the mini set's gonna be about, but it's gonna be insane with in this expansion. Probably, man. I imagine there's gonna be more imbue support. Lethal? Lethal! Good job, Rag. Good job, Rag. You did it. You did it, Rag. Yeah. Woo. We did it. We did it, guys. We did it, guys.
No, that will not happen.
Like, all I have to do is just mulligan for the same 3 cards, and if I don't get those cards, I have other 1-drops I can play on curve. Oh boy, so easy, so fun. I really love it when Hearthstone plays the game for me and I make no decisions. Oh, I got the Acera. Hell yes. Oh, we're just doing this, aren't we? If he has Corpse Explosion, then the Splitting Space Rock does a lot of work, and now these are going to kill him. This was such a disgusting turn. And the funny thing about this is that if I had a little bit extra mana and like 1 more minion that I could have killed, then this would have been active. This is why Malorn, by the way. This is 100% why Malorn is in the deck. Like I said, what happens with aggro, in my opinion, is that the choices of your opponent are infinitely more important than any choice you could possibly make.
Time is against me.
That was sarcasm, bro? Then where's the kappa? Because there are some people that actually believe that. Not quite lethal yet. I think I'm still gonna do it. In general, aggro is harder than Shaman or DK or Demon Hunter. I disagree. The reason I disagree with that wholeheartedly is because, again, it comes down to what your opponent has. And when you know, like, okay, so I'm gonna give a circumstance. There's, let's say there's a line that you get punished for not going wide enough because your opponent has an AoE, and then there's another line where it's like, well, I have to go tall, or okay, let's put it this way. So you have the AoE line if you go wider, versus if I go taller and just, you know, go with like Wind Fury, I would win the game there. Like, the thing that really sucks about aggro decks is that it feels like you're just making a bunch of 50-50 ideas to where you have to go in on the idea of they just won't have an AoE here. Because it's like, I don't win if this game goes past a certain point. It's like, there's so many like 50-50 gambits that I feel like that you have to take, where it's like, at what point is that just not even a skill anymore, and you're just, you know, getting lucky at the right time? Like, I don't know, man. I don't fucking like aggro, and I don't like justifying aggro taking skill, because in my experience, every single time, it's always dependent on what the opponent has, not what's in my hand, and that drives me crazy. Like, and if you take the safe line with aggro, or if you choose not to like overcommit or something like that, then suddenly the control deck is just gonna play a different option instead of the 1 or 2 options that you were worried about. Like, I'm trying as hard as I can not to be salty and to, like, you know, give you guys why I think this way. Because it just always feels, oh my god. It just always feels like it doesn't matter. My opponent's gonna have either 1 of 2 options and you can't play around all of them. Aggro decks are the most important decks of a meta. Completely disagree, but we'll see. They build all the other decks that are meant to keep the game healthy. I do not enjoy playing aggro nor facing it, but aggro is the most important game of the game, the most important way. I just don't agree with that. I hate the idea that aggro only exists in order to keep everything else in line, because that's literally the only reason for it. You win more by not playing around a lot of removals. See, a lot of people would disagree with that. A lot of people that play Hearthstone, like Fury Hunter, for example. Someone was using Fury Hunter earlier, being like, oh, dude, like, he had really impressive plays. It's like, yeah, Fury Hunter's got impressive plays, but it's like, I don't know, dude. Aggro decks, they're just not my cup of tea, and I don't think they're all the hype that people make them out to be. Pop-up book. Wait. Pop-up book. Honestly, this means that I can combo the other Asuna.
The menagerie is for guests only.
Okay. Have options, they don't just curve. Mid-range deck curve more, and mid-range died a while ago. While a lot is rotated, it's kind of slow to play aggro. The game seems rudimental, so I have to play my strongest line Gamble that he doesn't have removal, and it happens more often after rotations. It just always feels like it's more important what my opponent has, less about what I have. And I don't like working, like, I don't like the idea from turn 1, I'm already at a disadvantage. Oh, good lord. Okay, so this is still lethal. By that logic, you hate every mirror? Not at all. It depends on the mirror.
For my glory.
Stop BMing, it already does lethal damage. I'm aware, bro. I'm just playing my cards. Let me BM in peace. This entire deck is BM if you really think about it. Oh yeah, this is the third Asena. I keep wanting to call it Anissa. I don't know why.